Askeladd is a character that was a slow burn for me, personally. He didn't immediately charm me, nor did he have a certain moment like most great antagonists do that make us go crazy for them. At least not until the last episode. He is a character that by the time you're done with him, he's suddenly at the top echelon of your antagonist or even characters in general. Askeladd's character can be represented with three different character types: villain, victim, hero. His representation of these three roles he plays in the story help us understand the world of Vinland saga, the brutality of it, and the beauty of a paradise that can be achieved. Askeladd is first in his life a victim, but as we as an audience get introduced to him as a villain in the story, let's start with that, Askeladd as a villain. Askeladd's only villainous act in the story isn't being the reason of Thor's death. Of course, that is where the story antagonizes him for us, but he's also the character that by far kills the most early in the story, is shown as the most greedy, cruel character. In other words, a Viking, and the most despicable kind, who don't hold on to their oaths when they fight. They fight through tricks and kill with cold logic. Askeladd being explored as a villain also delves into what he thinks of these heinous acts of his. What does he think? Does he feel any regret? Does he enjoy the killing in the life of a Viking? Or does he just take it as part of the deal to survive in this world? The answer is all of them. He feels regret when he kills. He enjoys the killing. And he also takes it as part of the deal to survive in this world, to reach his objective, his current motivation. His conversation with Thorfinn and that one English soldier also answers this question for us. The Saxons killed the Celts, and the Saxons are going to be killed by the Danes, and it will continue. And among those Saxons would be people who felt regret when they did the killing, who enjoyed it, and who took it as just a part of the deal. And among the Danes, there are also people who enjoy it, who regret it, and those who just take it as part of the deal to reach their objective. That's what savages do. The Vikings are the savages perhaps right now, but in the future someone else will be, who will kill the Vikings, their children, their women, and will commit atrocities over them. It's an endless cycle. What our ancestors achieved, they achieved it through murder. No matter what they felt when they did it through murder. And those who will replace us will do the same. A soldier, a warrior, a Viking starts by killing. When he is young, he keeps winning. He grows old, he dies to someone else, to someone young, to someone who continues that path of savagery that he first followed. Askeladd represents everything that a Viking is. A Saxon was before that. Kill and get killed. As we delve deeper into his character, we realize that he is everything that Thors was against. He is an antithesis to everything Thors' philosophy was built on, to every type of villain that Thors opposed. The ideal Thorfinn's father stood for. When Thors, at the start of the story, tells Thorfinn, asks Thorfinn, when he asks him, who is your enemy? Thorfinn has no answer, or even the answer that he does have has no meaning, is a worthless reason. Askeladd, when he kills his enemies, when he kills people, the reason that he is killing them either has no meaning or has a pretty worthless one for the most part. That isn't and can never amount to ending someone's life. Yukimura, the author of Vinland saga, has portrayed amazingly through Askeladd one major quality of this world, of the world that he has built. He shows us that in this world, villains win and lose to other villains. They kill innocents and then they eventually become the innocents and get killed by someone else, by some other villain. Then Askeladd's story takes a turn and shows us the other side of the spectrum. What Celts felt when the Saxons killed them, what the people Askeladd kills feel. Let's dive into Askeladd as the victim. Askeladd as a name means covered in ash, the name people gave to Askeladd when he was a kid, which also explains how little even Bjorn, his only friend, knows about him. Askeladd's whole life has been covered in ash. He is the son of a slave woman from Wales and the son of a Viking, a villain, just like himself. His life starts as that of a victim to these ways, to the ways of the savages, the atrocities his mother had to face, the atrocities he has to face, how he cares for his mother, shows us, makes us sympathize with Askeladd's character. And with the revelation of Askeladd's mother being the descendant of a great Roman general, it also answers the question previously: who was the savage before has become the victim now, and who is the savage now will become the victim in the future. It will happen to the Danes as well, as is happening to the Saxons now, until someone important breaks it, until someone who has meaning to his acts comes and breaks them. In Askeladd's story, as a kid, that role is played by Artorius, a general who lived 500 years before him and protected Britannia from foreign invaders and slavers. His mother believes that he will come from Avalon, heaven, and save Askeladd's mother and all those who are being oppressed. Askeladd believes in this legend until one day, when his mother is about to be killed by his father, he realizes something. Though he has already understood half the truth, the other half he realizes here. Artorius would never come back to this hell of a world. If he is in a land of no slavery, murder, or any atrocity, why would he come? And the other half he realizes here, Artorius is not going to come. Someone else, someone born in this hell, will have to change this world and protect people in this cycle of killing, for revenge, for enjoyment, for any reason you can name. Which, when he protects his mother from his father, makes him in that moment Artorius, the hero, a great man who has just now saved someone, an innocent soul. His act of picking a sword here to protect his mother has meaning, has worthwhile meaning. So how does Askeladd turn into what we know of him today? He was a victim who became a hero. So why did Askeladd become a Viking? The reason is because Askeladd fails to end the cycle after that, and he soon realizes he isn't the hero he was in that moment. He kills his father when he could have chosen a different path, and he doesn't stop there. For everything that he does from that point on, every murder, every act of savagery that he commits has no reason, or has a pretty worthless one. Again, one that isn't enough to justify war, death, and the pain it brings. That's why when Canute asks him, why not do it yourself when you have all that ancestry, when you have the claim? Why not be the hero yourself? Askeladd's reply is, he is just a Viking. His story from saving his mother and changing into the person who kills his father is reason enough of him not being the one. But when Askeladd does this, does he end the cycle of killing without any reason? Yes. You see, when he kills the king, unlike all of his other acts that we have seen, or most of his acts that we have seen in the story, this has meaning. This has reason. He is saving Wales, and he is saving Canute, who can make Vinland possible. That's why the chapter in which it happens, chapter 52 of Vinland saga, when he kills the king, the chapter is named The Hero Returns. And this is also the chapter where Askeladd reveals his real name, the name of a hero, Lucius Artorius Cactus. Because in this moment he isn't Askeladd. In this moment he is a hero. In this moment his act of killing someone has meaning. His act of savagery has a big meaning. Askeladd in his life went from being a victim to a hero and then to a villain. But in this final act of his, he starts as a victim who is being victimized by the king to choose between what he has always sought all his life and the homeland that he loves. He ends being a hero. He doesn't go beyond and turn into a villain. He starts a victim and the cycle ends on him being a hero. He dies a meaningful death. You see, Vinland isn't just a fertile land with fruits and sunshine and harmony. It's a land where a king rules who gives meaning to any act, whether that's of violence or not, who isn't a slave to the will of the crown. And Vinland is a land of true warriors who don't need a sword or a weapon to kill, because they don't need to kill, because that act has no meaning for them. Askeladd leaves the foundation for Vinland by leaving both a king who aspires to give meaning to all this war and savagery, and also a savage who can be a true warrior. Askeladd's character explains and represents beautifully all sides of the world Vinland saga has, that Yukimura wants us to see: the savage, the victim, the hero, and how in the end you can only be one. Askeladd died a hero. Thors, even though he was a savage, died a true warrior. What happened in the past doesn't matter as long as the next act holds meaning. And that's what he tells Thorfinn. How do you plan to live your life now? Thorfinn's entire life, entire purpose has become Askeladd. He doesn't know anything beyond that. Vinland is just a vague dream to him now. Now that Askeladd is dead, he is lost. And I'm very much excited to find in season 2 of this as to how that is going to be realized. I have just seen some 2 episodes of season 2 of Vinland saga, and I'm liking it so far. So yeah.